What's happening, HEXO traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Gold. Today's Wednesday, May 4th. May the 4th be with us, and happy hump day. In today's video, going to do a short follow-up video to my video from yesterday, the news regarding the 40 million at the market offering from HEXO. If you haven't seen that video, you can check that out. But essentially, I've been racking my brain over the 100 million cash component that they say was needed for the Tilray deal. And I'm not able to find any information supporting that. So I wanted to come on and sort of clear this up and just discuss whether or not the deep dive is going through some sort of FUD campaign, spreading false information. This isn't the first time that they've spread false information, and really looking for help from the community. If anybody can find where that 100 million is coming from, I'll go into it more in detail here and exactly what I'm referring to. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me and the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. And tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future updates. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe as well. So again, check out that video in its entirety from yesterday, but I wanted to do a follow-up email. And it really raised some concerns for me because the Tilray deal is the most important thing right now, in my opinion. Everything else is just noise, right? We need the Tilray deal to absolutely go through. And this news yesterday, it said that it was going to be used, anything in excess of 30 million was reportedly used to pay Tilray Brands' financial advisor in relation to the transaction agreement whereby the firm is to buy the certain outstanding debt of HEXO, right? So it looks like everything's progressing with the deal. But then they go on this FUD campaign, right? Then they say, notably, the prospectus, they say even the title of the article, super bearish, right? 40 million ATM financing, less than 2 months cash remaining. Okay, well, we know the deal's progressing, and as soon as that deal follows through and we see the deal complete, they're going to have $80 million from Tilray to fund operations, plus 180 million backstop. So again, they're not really, they're just kind of, bearish bias, obviously, but again, I'm starting to see more and more signs that they're just spreading false information, and I'll get to that here. So they go on, they say that they have non-restricted cash left of about 14.1 million, and they say as a result, this company is currently less than 2 months of cash burn remaining in company coffers, and is a far cry from the 100 million required to be available for the closing of the transaction with Tilray Brands. And when I saw this yesterday, this caught me off guard. Again, let me know in the comments below if you've seen this before. Are they completely, pulling this out of their rear end, for lack of a better word? Like, what are they referring to here? If anybody knows, let me know. But I've searched, and this is the first time I've seen this. And again, it just seems like they're spreading false information and completely out to lunch here. So I wanted to call the deep dive out because, and we'll go into this deeper. We'll go into this deeper here in a minute. But I wanted to just mention here, the additional dilution of the company comes at the time when the NASDAQ listing is in jeopardy. So again, it's just FUD after FUD after FUD. And then if we click on here, this 100 million required, it takes us to the article from April 12th, which is when they signed the definitive agreement with Tilray. And then if we scroll down, it says the closing of the transaction and strategic alliance is subject to regulatory approvals, as well as the condition that HEXO must have at least US 100 million in cash. I can't find any evidence supporting this. So again, if I could get some help from you, from all the community out there, anybody listening to this, if you can help me try to pinpoint exactly what in the hell they're talking about, because as far as I'm aware, they're just completely making stuff up at this point. And a committed equity line of 180 million backstop, which is from Chaos and Adam Arviv, right? So if we go in here and then we click on the proposed strategic alliance, this takes us back to March 3rd when they originally announced it. If we scroll down, it says here that the proposed transaction remains subject to definitive agreement being met, the completion of certain amendments to the notes, approval by exchanges, further due diligence, shareholder approval by HEXO, and securing up to 180 million in equity. Where's that 100 million that they're talking about? Did they completely just make this up? Because this threw me for a loop yesterday and had me a little bit concerned, because I was like, how is HEXO going to get $100 million in cash? They only raised 40 million with this ATM, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And then again, if we go here to their original thing, they didn't even state that in the original article that they posted on March 3rd. And then if we look here at all of the press releases from HEXO, if we scroll down, it says commercial transaction standby commitment transaction conditions. Nowhere in this transaction conditions does it say 100 million in cash. it says 180 million backstop from Chaos, which we saw in Deep Dives articles, right? Then if we go here to the April 12th one, not from the original one, but this is when they signed the definitive agreement. Let's go back down. Transaction conditions. The closing of the transaction is subject to satisfaction of a number of conditions, including receipt of approval from the Toronto Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ stock market, and receipt of shareholder approval from HEXO shareholders. Nothing here about 100 million in cash. Like, what are they talking about? They're just pulling it out of their you know what. And again, this is from the actual definitive agreement. And nowhere does it state in here, transaction summary, commercial agreements, and transaction conditions. Nowhere does it say anything in there about 100 million. And shout out to Key and Andy. I missed this in the prospectus, but it says here, page 11 of the prospectus states the company sold, and this is the previous ATM, they sold 30 million or so shares for gross proceeds of about 74 million under the previous ATM offering. I did find that here in the prospectus, so thanks for bringing that up here. But a lot of people, we were wondering, out of that 150 million previous one that the 40 million is replacing, they didn't even raise the full 150. They only raised about 75 million. And then if we factor in this new one of about 40 million, that's still a lot less than 150 million that we were expecting from this previous 150 million offering, which was back in May of 2021, about a year ago, right? There's our answer to how much was raised of that previous 150 million. But like I said, I'm not seeing anywhere in any of this, in any of the CEDAR filings, any of the press releases about this 100 million requirement in cash. It just seems like a complete FUD campaign and just a complete lack of intelligence. Like, again, maybe I'm missing something, but I just don't see how HEXO is going to come up with $100 million before the Tilray deal closes. And why would they only raise 40 million in a new ATM if they need to pay the debt requirements, they need to fund their operations, they need to pay for Tilray fees? It just doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't they have done another at-the-market offering of over 100 million, right? We know they only have about 14 million in non-restricted cash, so it doesn't make any sense. And they say that they're going to be using the proceeds to pay for some of the fees for Tilray. So again, it just seems like they're completely making stuff up. This isn't the first time that they spread false information. And to be honest, I've completely lost all respect for Deep Dive. Maybe I'm missing something, but like I said, I've racked my brain, and because of how concerned I was about the Tilray deal going through, I was up, late last night, and I was looking through all these different filings, and nowhere can I find that they need 100 million in cash. So that just makes absolutely zero sense to me. And again, lost a lot of respect for the Deep Dive. And if I can get help from the community, that would be very much appreciated. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, or if you're able to find any supporting evidence or information regarding that 100 million cash component requirement. But as far as I can tell, they're just completely pulling that out of their you know what. So going to end it there. Again, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this, and let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. But again, main thing is that we see this Tilray deal close, and all signs are pointing to the deal closing at some point this month or next month at the latest. Thanks for joining us again on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Pow Group. If you could, smash the like on your way out, subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys maybe later on after market close. Keep in mind that we have the Fed interest rate coming up here in about an hour, so expect some volatility. All right, we'll talk to you again on the next video. Take care, everybody.